Well, what's the motherfucking deal? Den folk, how are you guys doing this afternoon? For those of you who are new to this, not true to this, welcome to the Den. And the Den is the best conversation on the entire fucking internet. I'm your host, Ed Honcho. It is my honor, my privilege, but more than anything, it is my pleasure to get to chop it up with you guys each and every afternoon or so, sometimes, on occasion. But, again, we're going to have a very interesting conversation today. If you don't know, if you're not aware, the Discord is a very big part of this channel now. And so if you're not a part of that, make sure the link is in the description below. Make sure you join. Make sure I think it's in the description. That should be. Make sure you join. Make sure you, whatever. Yeah, I got to forgive me. I'm like mad, right? I'm trying to do my best to suppress, right? I'm doing my best to suppress because I'm extremely angry. I almost thought like one of my channels was like canceled, right? I'm like, well, why the fuck would that be? But it turns out it's just it's a mere browser problem. And it's very frustrating because I would love to be able to do all of my stuff on I don't like Chrome. I really don't like a lot of Google products. I don't like YouTube very much because it's a Google product. Excuse me. But, yeah. And it's just caused me unnecessary problems. I've tried like a bunch of other browsers, like 3 or 4 different browsers, and the only one it doesn't work on is the one I prefer to use, which is Firefox, right? And it's super funny because Firefox just had an update, and I think they're offering like a VPN service, so I'm wondering how much that plays into it. But let's get into the conversation, man. Again, like I said, I'm glad you're here. Let's see who it is joining us, and then let's get into some great conversation. Yes, ever since they talk about the DOJ, and then next, it's fucking crazy, right? Yeah, pardon me, like I said, I was running around and doing all this. I got all kind of stuff going on. Culture, the Don of the Discord. What's the motherfucking deal? Beyond a funny wiggle, what's the motherfucking deal? John from New York. Show my favorite New York. And make sure you guys go follow and subscribe to Mr. John from New York. A great channel. If you like the Den, you'll love Mr. John from New York. Footballer 503, what's the motherfucking deal? The lovely Miss K Grace, followed by the lovely Miss Jess Sarah. How are you ladies doing this afternoon? Let's see. Doo-doo-doo. The lovely Miss Cartier. How are you doing this afternoon, Miss Cartier? I hope all is well. The fake Maria. How are you doing this afternoon? Let's see. Bobby Lily. How are you doing this afternoon? The lovely Miss Shonda. How are you doing this afternoon? Mr. Lobo. What's the motherfucking deal? Let me see. Kenneth. Honorable mention, Kenneth in the building. And let's see. He rules the world, man. Oh man, if I could fucking do the spinneroonie, I would. I'd probably have to fucking back spasm or something. Oh, Maria, I don't give a shit. So let's talk about the culture, man. The culture is killing you. What do I mean by that? Well, we talk about a lot of stuff here. And as of late, a lot of it has been black conversation. And we will do the debate thing in the Discord tomorrow. And so right now I'm just like focusing on stuff. So I'm trying to stir up a particular conversation, right? And so when I talk about the culture, I'm talking about black culture or black American culture. And I've said many times before that I don't think that black people in America have a culture, right? And I don't think it's a real thing. I think there may be isolated, maybe on particular regions, or your family may have certain things that you do. But I think across the board, I don't think it's a thing, right? There's a lot of niggas that just barely found out about Juneteenth, like when a lot of white people just found out about it recently. You feel me? Like when Trump told y'all he made it a thing. So it's like, again, and we can talk about disconnect, and a lot of people talk about slavery is why we don't have a culture. I don't know about that shit, niggas. We're going to get into that, right? And it's a problem, right? Because if you don't have something that you value, if you don't have something that is of merit about yourself, well, you're not going to look at yourself as valuable. You're not going to look at yourself as a contributor. You're not going to look at yourself as a positive member of society, right? And subcultures, absolutely. And you know, what's another thing, Delta? And it's like, it's very unfortunate because how do you solve that? Can you solve that? I think at this point it's too far gone. But I will talk about what people try to perceive as the culture and why I despise it, because I don't believe there's a Black American culture. But like I say, there is this identity that a lot of Black Americans have. So let's speak on it. Let's be real frank. And like Kenneth said, it used to be you say that, the culture was killing you. I was a young Black man growing up in America. If you were here the other day when Miss Fresh and Sassy said something, I believe she used the statement, rite of passage. And it may have been since the Christian days since I've talked about that loosely, but there is no Black rite of passage, not in America. In Africa, different tribes, they have different things. Sometimes they send motherfuckers out into the bush by themselves for months, different shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, they do a lot of different things. But here, we don't, right? It's just, you turn 18, get the fuck out the house, figure it out. You have some groups who will, a certain phrase known as jumping off the porch. And some of you may be familiar with that. Some of you may not. To some people, that's a rite of passage, right? But maybe not so much. Because a rite of passage shouldn't be something that involves you, getting into illegal activity or doing, off the wall ass shit, right? So that, to me, jumping off the porch, getting your hands dirty, putting in work, however you want to phrase it. I'm trying to keep it a little slightly PC. That's not a rite of passage, not at all. And a lot of the time, that shit happens because of the situation you're put into, a very poor situation. So to me, that's not it, because it's not consistent across, socioeconomic status. So that's more of a thing for lower income Black Americans to the habit that they have. So to me, that's an issue. I don't know how to change that. That was something I thought about years ago. I was like, what could I do to maybe create something like that? But that's not what this conversation is about today. But the rite of passage thing is important because if you look at like Jewish people, Mexicans, they got like quinceañeras, and that's a female thing. But like Jewish people, they got bar mitzvahs. What are you, like 13? You know what I'm saying? It's not no hair. It's the same fucking hairstyle. I'm not be running around and doing shit. I just tie them together. So there's nothing special. It's the same fucking dreads. I just tie them up. That's all it is. And then they go all over the place. See? Nothing special. So my thing is, I think those things have benefits in those cultures because what happens at a certain age, you start to change and people start treating you like that, right? You ain't gonna ever call them around over here. And so, like at 13, you start getting treated as a man. You start being to be given responsibilities as an adult, right? At 15, you're treated as a woman, and y'all Mexicans, y'all like to do shit young. Y'all some traditional way. Y'all be getting married at 15 and shit. You know what I'm saying? So at 15, she ready for marriage, but no, they start treating her like a woman. You start having these things. There isn't like anything like that, in Black culture. So I think that's a problem because where does that line cross? Well, you're still a child. When do you become an adult? When we start giving you that level of respect? There's no way back in the day, people did shit so much younger. You wouldn't have these there wasn't government education. There wasn't all this stuff like you got it from your family. You learned, you had responsibilities as a child. And that's why I think people were way more mature back then and people were able to handle things a lot differently back then. I think that's why people were getting together and getting married at a lot younger age back then. Nowadays, it's a no-go. And I'm okay with that. I need to write that down as a question. Whose favorite statement is, and I'm okay with that? That's going to be a question on the... that's going to be a question on the next... when I fix up the bot, when I update the bot. But, That's a problem because y'all, if you grew up black, you already know it don't matter. As long as you in that house, you child basically. You know what I'm saying? Like you don't get treated as such until you get out and get on your own. Um, but let's look at what people say the culture is, and it's not all about the rite of passage. Everything associated with black culture today has a negative association, negative connotation, a negative outcome. Young black men, or if you ain't never went to jail, if you ain't thugging, if you ain't, you're not a man. You know, there's a lot of women who look at niggas like that. Like, oh, no, I ain't the type of man. That's not a man. Um, and look at these women now, the way they're dressing, the way the things that they're doing to themselves. You know what I mean? We talked about the weave just the other day, and all that's despicable. We watched the good hair in the Discord, so y'all saw what was going on with that. Like literally chemically altering themselves to not be who they are. The fucking butt shots and injections and just crazy shit like the over sexualization because there's no other purpose. There's no other. There's nothing else that it seems like to strive for. But is this black culture? Are blacks just naturally over sexualized? Are we just naturally got to be thugging? Is that really what it's all about? Is that is that our culture? Is crime? Is it shaking your ass all day? Like it's the food, soul food. We all love it, but ain't shit you supposed to be eating on a fucking regular. You know what I mean? Like fucking pig's feet and fucking chitlins and all this shit. I get it. People say, oh, well, they took the scraps, from the foods back when they were slaves. That's not culture. That's survival. That's adaptation. You know what I mean? Like, again, but we attached ourselves to it. When you talk to black people, and you could say something, oh, that shit is trashy and low class, and never say the word black, but they'll automatically associate themselves with it. You're insulting black people, right? Like, why is this a thing? But again, like I say, why did I say the culture is killing you? When the politicians come through here, and fuck them all, right? They're politicians. If you're a career politician, you're a fucking scumbag. Like, that's my personal feeling. Some may feel different. It is what it is. But you can't name any real straight, prominent black politicians for young black men to look up to. And you say, well, Honcho, why is it important that they got to be straight and black? Well, because honestly, let's be honest about it. Black LGBT people care more about the letters than they do about the color. The color is secondary, right? So that's why I say that. So if I'm raising a son and I say, hey, man, look, you can be like this guy, I wouldn't want to be like. The only thing I would tell him to be similar to Obama is the way you speak. What the fuck is this? I got a gangster ass ringtone, right? The only thing I want him to be like Obama is in your speaking, the manner of speaking. Speak properly. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Like that's the only thing. But I wouldn't say, hey, follow his ideals. I wouldn't want him out there promoting, a lot of LGBT shit. Like I wouldn't want him out there promoting, all those causes. They can fight for those. Now, if I had a son, he ended up being that. I guess it's a whole different den topic. But like I would want. That would be the only thing, right? And I only got one. You know what I mean? Like that's it. Now there's a couple. There's other good ones, but they're not prominent. There's like let me get this corrected, right? There are a lot of very good black figureheads, politicians. It's a little different. And I wouldn't want my child to grow up to be a politician. But what I'm just saying is, we're talking about representation. There's not very many. There's not very many like black business leaders that are put out to the forefront unless they're an entertainer, unless they are some type of celebrity for whatever reason from doing things, right? Black people, you gotta entertain, you gotta find a way to. It sounds real hypocritical, right? Because that's basically what I'm doing right now, entertaining. But you gotta entertain to make it, or you gotta rap, you gotta fucking dance, you gotta fucking play basketball. And the fucking crazy part about this is not white people telling you this. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not it's not white people telling you this. It's other black people telling you this shit. Oh, you can't make it out the hood. Like, let's be realistic. I hope we get some good calls when we open up the line. And then you Negroes better call in. Yes, I called you Negroes to stimulate your anger and hopefully make you call in. We're 23 deep, only 11 likes. 12 y'all don't like this, or 12 y'all are haters. I don't know what it is. But again, like this bullshit. And most of us don't even look for something different. A lot of us just go ahead and buy into the narrative. It is what it is. This is America. If you're black, you ain't got no options. That's false. You have all the options in the world. You have so many more options than anywhere else in the whole fucking world. America is the land of fucking opportunity for everyone. You know what I mean? Like, for everyone. You just choose not to see it because you just choose to associate with other people who have done nothing. You change your association. You ain't got to change your race. You ain't got to change your hair. You ain't got to change none of that other shit. Just simply change your association and watch how your life changes. But again, the killing part. We promote manhood as gangbanging. What you think is going to happen from that? Selling dope, what you think is going to happen from that? You ain't a man unless you're out there trapping, unless you ain't running up on niggas, you ain't sliding on niggas. You know, women, we promote the shit from fucking young. It's women out there encouraging other women at a very young age to get out there and start doing questionable activities, trapping niggas. It's moms that encourage their own daughter. Well, you know, the government is good as you gonna get it. A little funky ass government check. You probably make more than that fucking, you know what I'm saying, making minimum wage going out and working. But you have mothers who encourage their daughters to go trap nigga, get pregnant, fucking get on government assistance, get you a fucking thing. Like, it's terrible, dog. You know what I'm saying? And so yeah, no associates about it. Oh, it's like that. The Den is the real mainstream, right? Like, the shit that they put on TV is not mainstream television. The Den is the real mainstream. The Den is real people. You know what I mean? Like, we don't always agree. Most of the time we don't agree. But all different people from different walks of life having real fucking conversations. No holds barred. That's what needs to be happening. So, but like I say, the culture's killing you. You're getting pregnant, over-sexualized, fucking a bunch of niggas getting STDs, getting pregnant, kids having kids, perpetuating the fucking cycle, right? And so this is what's killing us. I remember a call, I think I still got it somewhere, saved and prepaid, had said a long, long time ago. This was back when I was sweating in the garage. And he talked about generational wealth, right? It ain't that the white people hiding it from you. It ain't, you know, and I'm this is not verbatim. This is a piss poor quote. I have to go back and find the exact video, or if I have it saved. But basically, the reason you don't have generational wealth is because you don't have time to build it with you fucking popping kids out at fucking 14. You ain't got no wealth. Like, how can you complain about generational wealth if you continue to have, you know, underage kids, or you know, you don't even establish yourself before you have children, and then you think you're going to build wealth after you have kids? I mean, it's possible. It's going to be a lot more difficult though, right? So it's just like, and it was a very interesting perspective. It's just like, you know, when you continue to have these young kids, you're not actually focusing on, you know, creating and building something. Well, then, you know, it is what it is. And what is it that it is, right? We'll figure that out too on the next episode of the DNZ. But no, man, I want to talk on the slavery thing real quick, and then we're gonna bring it all the way back. We're gonna open up the line, and I apologize because I planned to have this a little bit more, but I got angry fucking with that damn browser, and it took up way more time than necessary. I haven't even eaten today, now that I think about it. But the slavery thing, right? This is, if it ain't the modern day media pushed ideal on black people, you know, sing, dance, entertain, shake your ass, go strip, you got to sell dope, you got to be like, if it ain't that telling you that's what black people are, and other niggas will tell you what that is too. That's what it is. You got that's black right there. Then you have the other group who is attached to slavery, right? Well, slavery is the reason why everything, it's the end all be all of blackness in America. And you can't change it. We were slaves and we're always going to be at the bottom. It is what it is. That's that bullshit. Like, that's that literal bullshit. Like actually stepping in the shit from a bull. It stinks. Because there were slaves who, upon receiving their freedom, went on to be successful. Now, I'm not going to hear a lot about that because may not have been a lot of them. Because most people, and here's the real truth about life, honestly, y'all, and some people will agree, some people might not want to hear it. Most people are mediocre as fuck. This is black, white, green, gray, purple, orange, whatever your nationality, right, whatever creed, color, whatever. Most motherfuckers are extremely mediocre, especially in this day and age. You just gotta put that much more effort in the next motherfucker to be great these days. But what happened is you had go-getters, you had people who saw that opportunity, who felt that veil get pulled from over them, that glass ceiling or whatever you want to call it. And they took that opportunity and ran with it. But we don't even want to talk about those people who came through real odds, real struggles. There were people during all the Jim Crow era, black people that were successful with real odds against them. Laws on the books that hindered them from doing a lot of things that we are free to do today when we don't think about it twice, right? So, like, using the slavery excuse to me is a piss poor mentality. Because the thing is, in reality, mentally you may have been, but you've never been physically in chains, unless your ass has been arrested. And we ain't finna talk about that. But you've never been stopped. You've never been hindered. Nobody's ever slowed you down. Nobody's ever even physically got in your way. The majority of niggas, black folks, whatever you want to call, who's complaining, who's attaching themselves to this bullshit culture of mediocrity, they're just mediocre people. Why? Because right now in America, black culture has such low fucking standards, anybody can embrace it. We talked about that the other day. Everybody's invited to the cookout. Can you dance? You're at the cookout. You could be a white person who said some of the most off-the-wall stuff, a la guy who's currently running as the candidate for the Democratic Party. Said all kind of crazy off-the-wall stuff. But as long as you acknowledge black people, they love you, right? Trump has not said half the stuff that off-the-wall stuff that Biden has said, right? But niggas love Biden. Can't stand Trump. Why? Because TV told them to. Most niggas don't even think for themselves. Most niggas let the media impact them. The media is black culture. And people say, oh, it don't impact us like that. Because every time I talk about music, especially when I talk about like women's music and female rappers and women say, oh, it don't impact people like that. It don't even. Yes, the fuck it does. Like, and I'm going back because I don't know what the new wave is. I'm not riding the new wave. I don't know what's what. But think about it. Anytime a rapper comes out and says, makes a song about some type of style or something, what happens? People who were never even wearing that shit start wearing it. Nelly came out with the Air Force Ones. Even though he didn't start that shit, but when he came out with the Grill song, right? We already know what that wave was. We was down here in the city already on that for a long time. As a boy started coming to Houston to come fuck with it, to lean all. You hear motherfuckers doing shit and people are encouraged to do things. Like, it's mainly like a lot of this rap shit. Rapper says he does drugs, these little niggas start doing drugs. You know what I'm saying? Motherfuckers start saying, oh, I do this, I do that, I dress this way. Motherfuckers start dressing that way. You're influenced. Like these fucking events, like the Emmys and the Grammys and shit, right? When these bitches go wear these fucking dresses, or why they say I'm wearing, I don't know, fucking designers. I'm wearing Tommy Hilfiger. I'm wearing Liz Claiborne. I'm wearing Kenneth Cole. Some Vera Wang or one of these fucking fancy designers, right? Why? Because you're fucking influenced. Because once that camera's on them, they see that shit. They say, oh, this designer who? Y'all motherfuckers start running out and going to that fucking designer and buying their shit. You know what I'm saying? So you are influenced. the music does influence. The television does influence you. You know what I'm saying? And so I hate when people say, "Oh, no, it don't." And even if that one thing didn't impact you directly, I guarantee it impacted the neighborhood around you, or the people around you, somebody in your family, and therefore, it has impacted you without you even really knowing it. You know what I'm saying? I support blacks, not niggas. Look, here's the deal. When What It Do became popular, yeah, and that's the funny thing, because niggas was saying What It Do a long time. I was in high school, junior high. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? And so it's like, it's so like I say, what? You've been married twice real time. What the fuck? You stop cheating on the women, they'll stop leaving you. But like I said, it's just it's unfortunate. And so like I said, when you're not thinking for yourself, when you're not realizing that the activities that you're participating in are detrimental to not only you, but the people around you, and then you associate with it, you call this the culture. Like this hip hop shit, rap music is not black culture. That's like the main thing. Like if you talk about rap music to most niggas and you say I don't like this shit or I don't even fuck with it, you're not black. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I'm opening the line here in just a second to take calls. I've been talking for a minute. Maybe about 5 more minutes. We'll take some calls. If you tell a nigga you don't like rap music, they'll disown you. Bad Boy, what's the motherfucking deal? Terran, what's the motherfucking deal? UV, what's the motherfucking deal? Real Talk, 12. Let me see. I saw P Prayed in here. Who else may I miss? Houston, Texas Talk. And anybody I may have missed, I ain't dissing. But, like I say, it's a problem. How do you change it? I don't know. And honestly, truly, especially after me talking about this shit for the last 30 minutes, do I really even give a fuck? Because I told y'all a while back, man, I stopped trying to fucking save the world. I realized I wasn't Superman. But what I can do is save me, my family, those I associate with of like mind. I can only share the information with, whether they take it or not, that's on them. But in reality, I don't give a fuck. Because of the reality. Why? One, I don't. And it sounds fucked up. I live in a black neighborhood, so I don't see a lot of this nonsense on a day-to-day. And there's a reason why I don't want to see a lot of this nonsense on a day-to-day. You know what I mean? Because it's like, it's a difference. And it sounds crazy and it sounds fucked up. But ask anybody who was raised in a certain environment and has been able to elevate, even if only slightly better than what they were doing, to a better place. Ask them how they feel. Ask anybody who's got out the hood, right? Because niggas love the hood. Like, don't ask about it. I ain't got no fucking hood, dog. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't ask me about no fuck. I ain't got no fucking hood. Fuck a hood. I got a family. You know what I'm saying? That's what matters to me. But if you ain't repping your hood, you ain't doing this thing that kill me about the hood. You niggas be talking about repping the hood, don't own shit in that bitch. You know what I'm saying? Miss Jen, what's the motherfucking deal? So, Lobo, what's the motherfucking deal? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a crazy situation. The niggas is fucked, right? It is what it is. And, and I talk about this. Yes, I have a lot of niggerisms in my mentality. I would say I'm still about 32% niggerish. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? I got to work on it. I'm still working on it. I don't want to get rid of all of it. You need some of that shit. You got to have a little bit of it. You got to have a little bit of foolishness in you. You always got to stay ready. But when I open up the line here, I want to know your thoughts, man. What is black culture? Do you disagree? Is there a black culture? Do you think that there is something that is symbolic of blacks in America? Is there a uniform event celebration that black Americans do participate in, care about, that connects to all of us? Or are we lost? This is a lost generation. This is a lost race. Are we done for? Are we as a group. I ain't done for it. I ain't done for it till I clock out. But as a group, as a whole, are black people declining? But like I said, I want to know what you think. I want to know what you believe. I want to know how you feel. And if you do agree that blacks are lacking culture, there is no culture, or that the culture is the media, the bullshit that gets put out, I would like to know, how you feel. I'm mad about this shit. I'm mad. I fucking get all this dumb shit. That shit still won't let me fucking use the browser. I want to fucking use piece of shit ass Google. I want to know what you think. Is there a solution? Can this be resolved? Can this be fixed? When I found the girls from Lake, I got to the toilet while I was there. Sure, Rio. Try to cover your tracks now. We all know what kind of guy you are. All right? We know what kind of shenanigans that you were into and up to. You know what? That could be. That might be hindering something. Let me see if that's an issue. I'll check on that one out. Over here. That could be causing a problem. So I'm gonna check that out. That could definitely be causing a problem. So give me just 1 second. Let me get the line open here, and then like I said, we'll take some calls. We'll get it all in. All right, all that good shit. All right, I'm not gonna lie to y'all. The line been up. I just had to make sure that shit was muted. I ain't want anybody calling in. And the fucking shit ringing all crazy. All right, let's get to it, man. Let's get some calls. And I want to know how y'all feel. I want to know what y'all think. I ain't talked to y'all in a few days. We did the shit in the den yesterday, in the Discord yesterday, and then, Monday, I didn't take any calls. So let me hear y'all's voices. Let me hear what y'all sounding like, what y'all talking about. And I guess I need to have the thing up if I'm going to have it muted and quiet, right? What is this? Okay. So, also, and I appreciate the love, Mr. Real Talk. If you guys want to, you wonder why that fucking 200 in the couch is there. All donations via Cash App and Streamlabs are going directly to getting a couch to put in the back of the den. Like I said, I want to change the scenery up, and we're going to go from there. What's the motherfucking deal? Who do we have calling into the den this afternoon?
Good afternoon. This is John from New York.
Ah, John, my favorite New Yorker. How are you doing this afternoon, sir? Excellent. I'm good. No complaints. I'm a little annoyed with some stuff going on behind the scenes, but hey, you know what? It is what it is. I'm alive, so we're good to go.
Well, happy to hear that you're still alive and breathing, and the pen is still on.
Yes. It almost wasn't. I was a little scared earlier. Oh, snap. Hold on. Well, I guess I should not. I guess let me un-Roman you there. That helps, right? It's always something. There we go. All right, John, you should be good to go now. Y'all might have heard a little bit off my headphones to the mic.
That's been the last several phone calls I've called in that I've been Romanized.
When you first, I forget to undo the line audio. So like whenever whoever calls me first, I forget.
I think there's a sinister plot going on to undercut the white privileged man calling in New York.
Oh no, I would never do so. It wouldn't be white privilege. It might be East Coast thing, but not white privilege. You Yankees. I can't trust you, damn Yankees. Other than that, no, John, you're correct. I wouldn't do such a thing. But how do you feel, John? Especially being a guy outside the culture, being able to observe. What do you think about black culture, or is there a black culture?
Well, I've upset many people in the past by saying I didn't think there was a such thing as American black culture, because I felt that it was just really accumulation of multiple white cultures. Poor Southern white people, the French, the Italians, the Spaniards, then you had the British, the Dutch, the Danish, and then you have obviously some African culture that was brought over with the original slaves during the transatlantic slave trade. And I feel that when you mix up all that, you get what is American black culture today, or perceived to be American black culture today. But I think in the bigger scheme of things, that's all really irrelevant. And, I've kind of been like out of it the past week and a half, 2 weeks. Just in terms, I've been feeling groggy. Mentally, I've been disappointed with some of the things that I haven't done. Some of the videos that I feel that I should have spoken on, but for whatever reason I held back, like the Ice Cube video, Diddy trying to start a new political party just for black people. I just feel like the last 2 weeks I really haven't been on my game.
Yeah,
But I bit my tongue when I called in and spoke about Ice Cube when he talked about helping out with the platinum plan for Trump, and I really bit my tongue and I didn't say what I really wanted to say. I'm like, you and I had this discussion. When I don't really speak from my heart, I always end up regretting it. And this kind of ties into this. I don't really think the problem is necessarily the culture. I think the problem is on a bigger scale, and it's that people are pre-programmed sheep who are unwilling to think outside of the box for their own improvement. For example, in regards to black people, to tie back into the whole Ice Cube thing, the P. Diddy thing, the whole, like, black people need an economic plan just for black people. It can't say people of color. We want to specifically say black. That's the problem on so many levels. One, you can't expect to be inclusive while asking for exclusive deals. And this goes for Jewish people, gay people, black people, white people, whoever. The reality is the perception that black people are just doing so horrible and that they're all at the bottom is just that. It's a perception. It's a money-making exploitation mind frame. It's like 1% of white people, depending on how you break it down, whether you're going to include juveniles, blah, 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 about 1% of white people are imprisoned or in some kind of detention center. It doubles for black people, 2%. These are both tiny numbers when compared to the population of their own race or all of America, either way. But yet all we do on TV is talk about how black people need help with the criminal justice system, and then it gets this perception that black people are criminals, and every time there's an election, it's always, what are we going to do for black people to get them out of jail? Well, one, there's all races of men and women in jail. And two, why are we highlighting black people? Because there's 2% instead of 1%. Now, because you give that extra 1% that much more attention, all people see and hear is black people need help, black people at the bottom, black people always deal with the criminal system. So it paints this perception that black culture is full of criminality. There's 30 million white people that are in poverty. There's about 11 million black people that are in poverty. As a percentage of each race, yes, there's about twice as many black people that are in poverty as white people. 74% of black people are middle class. 87% of white people are middle class. But somehow, poverty is a black people problem. Black people somehow are the face of Section 8 and food stamps and WIC. Because there's a perception. Instead of talking about the 98% of black people on TV that are doing well and are not in prison, they talk about the 2% who are. They don't talk about the 1% of white people that are in prison. Somehow we talk about the 99% of white people who are privileged and never had to struggle, and they get everything in life because of their skin color, a.k.a. dominant, lucky, privileged. So I think the bigger problem is the perception. And that's why I was annoyed with Ice Cube when he gave, credence to a platinum plan or whatever the hell the Democrats want to call theirs in response. You're feeding into the perception that black people need special amounts of help and that you could fix it by throwing money at it. And I think everyone's culture has been affected by that lately. They're looking to put a Band-Aid on a boo-boo. They're not letting the boo-boo heal. They're saying, well, you know, your culture is like this because of the white man. I'll tell you how we're going to fix it. This system of oppression that's systemic and racist, we're going to add another piece to the system to oversee the first system that's racist. Now we'll have an even bigger system. No. If the banks aren't lending money to black people, if that's what you believe, you fix that fucking bank. You don't go out and hire an entire new branch of government or an entity to oversee it, because that entity then is just going to be called racist, and it's going to cost more money. So the economic plan for whether you're black or all America is not to throw money at it. It's to look at the real reason why certain groups of people are suffering more than others. And for the black culture, it's a lack of two-parent homes. Why do black people make less money than white people? They don't. When you compare a college-educated two-parent home to the same college-educated two-parent white home, and you put them in the same geographic location of the country, they make very similar amounts of money. And in some cases, the black families make more money. So the problem is not a lack of access to funds. It's a lack of a strong foundation. So when you put on TV these reality shows like Keeping Up the Kardashians and Basketball Wives of Atlanta or whatever the hell they're doing these days, it keeps painting this perception that this is what the culture is, and then the kids see it and they grow up thinking, well, that's the norm and that's what I do because everyone else is doing it. So I believe that politics, the media, they're initially the reason why we have certain perceptions of certain groups. And then you have the actual people within the group that feed into it themselves, and then they, you know, then they run around acting or thinking like that, and they don't realize that everyone else is then viewing that and forming a judgment. And then you have all these people with these pre-programmed notions in their mind, and they can't figure out that they're programmed sheep, and they can't stop and take a step back and look at things for themselves.
I agree with that. I can definitely agree with that. I think most people are that way. That's why I was mentioning, most people are mediocre, and they're going to be who they are going to be. So most people struggle to change or, achieve certain goals that, others achieve quite easily. So I do believe that it is the mentality is a huge factor.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. You could sit here, since you're talking, it sounds like you want, the topic of the show is more like the culture is killing you. You have a picture of stereotypical black people, so I'm assuming you're talking about black culture, or you're implying that.
Yes.
It's like you could say, oh, Byron Allen has a $300 million net worth and he owns the Weather Channel, and Kanye West is worth $5 billion and he, owns a chunk of Adidas and other clothes and other stuff, music. Jay-Z, Tyler Perry, movie studio, blah, 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 blah. When you point these out, people will be like, oh, well, just because some of us made it, it doesn't mean that we're all going to make it. Well, that's the same thing for any race or culture. There's a 1% in every culture. I believe that, people really need to take a step back, deprogram themselves, and view life through a more realistic lens, which is, as an individual, if you put in the work, you can achieve anything. Some people might have a few more hurdles than others. Fair enough. But we've heard all of the horror to success stories, and we've heard the riches to rags stories, so it works both ways. Again, it starts with a two-parent home, a good two-parent home. It starts with believing in yourself. And, that's really what's needed. It shouldn't be a platinum plan for black people. It should be a plan to bring America back to core fundamentals that work. I'm in sales, I'm in finance, I'm in sales. Going through like a rough patch where we're not closing deals. We always say, get back to fundamentals. And I feel that's what America should do with certain aspects of American culture. Get back to fundamentals. Look at back in the day when things were better for certain groups. What were they doing? Two-parent homes, a deeper relationship with God, They didn't focus on the name brand. They focused more on the quality. These things work. So telling someone, hey, I'm going to give you some attention by calling it the Platinum Plan, or I'm going to give you some attention by, dare I say it, moving the embassy to Jerusalem. Well, that's wonderful, but what the fuck does that do for people at the ground level?
Not very much.
Yeah. So, and obviously they're doing it for a reason, because they're doing it because they make money off of it, but you and I don't. Racism, xenophobia, homophobia, sexism, any other phobia, the reason why it's thrown in our face every single day is not because it happens sometimes in real life. It's because it's very profitable to do that.
Yes.
And then what happens is then, as everyday people, we run around spouting the same shit, not realizing that we're not making ourselves any money by doing that. I will never walk around with a $500 T-shirt that says Supreme or Versace or Gucci on it. They don't pay me to advertise that shit, but they pay Bruno Mars. They pay Bruno Mars to dress with that head to toe. He doesn't pay for that shit. They give him that. George Clooney said that when he was on his way to working up to being a big movie star, he was thinking about all the expensive stuff that he was going to buy that he always wanted when he was younger, and he said he was shocked because when he made it, he didn't realize that you get all that stuff for free when you're a celebrity. He didn't have to pay for any of that stuff. So the reality is, the reason why everything's getting shoved in your face is because someone's making money off of it and you're not. Stop being a program sheep. Ice Cube couldn't give a fuck about you. Trump couldn't give a fuck about you. Biden couldn't give a fuck about you. P. Diddy couldn't give a fuck about you. The only people who care about you is your mother and your father. And sometimes there are well-known people that care about you, but they usually are not put on the big screen 24/7. Because they're teaching you how to build your wealth instead of teaching you how to build someone else's wealth.
100% agree.
So I think that there is a problem there's some problems that are more prominent within certain cultures, but I still believe, even with that being said, really the media has programmed us to believe that it's an even bigger problem than it really is.
So you think that it's overblown, it's a misconception because people have kind of a skewed perspective of what's going on in the country?
Yeah, and it's a very difficult virus to get rid of, because I could sit here and say, well, things aren't as bad as the media makes it to be, and then someone who might live in a neighborhood where a lot of that is centered might say, bullshit, I walk outside my door and I see that everywhere I look. Well, yeah, because you're centered in your neighborhood. It's centered, or you're centered in your family. But on a bigger scale, if you get out there and you move outside of your comfort zone, or your little fucking small radius, you'll realize that it's not as bad as people say it is. Or you'll realize that the reason why it is not really why you believed all these years that it is. They say, black generational wealth is not being built because black people don't have the same opportunities in business. Bullshit. It's because you don't get fucking married at the same rate as everybody else. So how the hell do you buy a house when you're a single mother with a kid? You have to rent because you can't afford the mortgage, so you rent. How do you build wealth renting? You don't. You build wealth by owning a home, owning a rental property that you rent out to other people, by investing in your 401k. So the reality is if she was married and had two kids, and had two incomes, her average income and his average income, you now have more economic leverage to buy a property, even if it's a small property, and build equity in that. You might have a little bit of extra money left over. You can maybe pay for your kid to go to a charter school instead of a public school, or you could take that extra money and put it into your 401k and let it grow tax deferred. This is how you build wealth. But you can't do that if you're single. You can't do it. You can't. How do you do that? So again, it all comes back to the problems are exploited in the media to keep people down, to keep people programmed, and it's to make other people rich while it keeps the same group that they supposedly care about and talk about on TV poor or dumb. And it's just sad because, this last 4 years leading up to where we are today with the elections and everything, it's really like shown how people are just fucking morons and assholes and evil and just fucking dumb. And they say, well, Trump did all this. No, Trump is the person that made other people take their mask off. That's it. You always were who you were. You just had on a mask and you hid it from people. Because I haven't changed who I am. I didn't change who I was during the 8 years of Obama, and I thought he was a piece of shit, and then I didn't agree with 99% of his politics. Race relations are similar to where they were 8 years ago. Nothing's changed. I haven't changed. You could put Biden in for the next 8 years. I'm not going to change who I am. You know what I mean? Like, evil people are evil people, whether you put a mask on them or not. Good people are good people, whether you put a mask on them or not. So I might be talking in circles here, but I feel that your biggest oppressor is yourself. If you can escape the four walls of your skull and allow your brain to view the rest of the world, you'll realize that you will start to see that you were a fool, and you'll be happy because you're now learning things that you didn't know.
I don't know. Change your scenery, get you some experience, and it will definitely adjust your perspective on things.
Yeah, I mean, like, what are some of the things that you think are destroying the culture, or what about the culture you think is hindering progress?
I believe the fact that there is no real foundation. So I think what you have with a lot of black people, and I think that you get with other races, and is that most black people don't have a sense of, what's the word I want to say history, but maybe more so who they are, because that's why you have the big slavery problem. Most people go back to they end right there, even though it's deeper than that. So I think there's a loss of pride. So then people start accepting the bullshit that gets put out. Like I say, the music, even though the majority of people may be doing better, we all listen to this crazy shit. The people who are pushed to the forefront, like I said, the Megs and all of the other people who are not doing the most positive things. So I think that this inspires or this hinders, eventually I think people grow older and they get a little sense about them and get it together. But these things can be a stumbling block for the youth, or it puts them in a bad position. It helps them, or doesn't help them, it hinders them. They get out the blocks a little bit later. They end up, catching a case because they believe, well, this is what everybody else is doing. That's what the music says. And again, like I said, I can agree, if you have a two-parent household and other things like that, then the likelihood of that is less. But the majority of blacks are in a single mother household. And so with that being the problem, like I said, I think it trickles down. And it has a lot of small impacts that I think that add up to a larger problem.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, even that lady Jamil Hill yesterday supposedly made a comment that. And I was trying to make sense of what she said, because I'm like, wait, like, what is the point of saying this? I don't get it. Like, I'm guessing that she's very pro-feminism.
So she said, most black men, because I blocked, I was like, man, this is the point where her tweets no longer come across my timeline. I had to block it. What did she say? Most black men don't want to escape the patriarchy. They want to extend its privilege. Some stupid fucking shit.
Extend what? Like, a patriarchy is the man is like the foundation of the home. And like we're talking about, everyone knows, like, two-parent homes are the least common within the black neighborhood, the black community in America. So it's like, what patriarchy? Like, if anything, they want to build up on it, not why would you want more matriarchy? It hasn't worked.
Correct.
Like, Why would you want more? And then at the same time, black women like her, like, we're the most unprotected group. Well, how the fuck do you want to be protected if the patriarchy isn't the strong foundation of the home? Because you want to be protected by a man and protected in general. So you need strength. You need mental and physical strength, which a man provides. So I don't know. I was trying to make sense of it, but then I got sidetracked by all the hysterical memes that the black guys were posting. Talking about it's the black man's fault the Titanic sunk. It's the black man's fault the atom bomb was dropped.
Everything was the black man's fault. Yeah, that shit was.
Yeah, they would post everything.
But yeah, that was a super because she had said something about all Republicans are racist, and then said, "Yeah, my mom does vote Republican." Like, she's a dumb bitch. Like,
she called Honcho. Let me cut you off. I know you passed, but she called Candace Owens a bootlicker. Mm-hmm. But her mom has voted Republican since Bill Clinton.
Yes.
So, are you calling your mom a bootlicker?
Correct. Yes.
And if so, what kind of relationship do you have with your family? You are the last person to be talking about patriarchy or matriarchy. Like you have a dog shit relationship with your family. You are the epitome of what's wrong with the fucking community. Shut your fucking mouth, bitch.
Yeah, I can't.
Holy
I can't
shit.
And then, she's always hollering this, that, and the third. But then she went and ran to who was the Athletic or Atlantic, whatever she's at. If you're so concerned, with your pro-blackness, why not go to one of these smaller black companies that are trying to get off the ground or trying to get their name out there, since you have such a powerful name working at ESPN and everywhere else.
Oh my God!
But she went to a majority white company and went to go work for them. So
she went to Michigan State.
It's like, come on, stop all the
She went to She said the same thing when it came to the HBCUs and how athletes, are kind of selling out if they don't go to an HBCU. But meanwhile, she went to Michigan State, a predominantly white college, like university. So it's like, bitch, take your own fucking advice.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like it's fucking.
It's like. That's like MLK saying, I'm not going to march down these streets and get my ass beat. You do it. What?
Crazy.
But I think that social media, mass media, movies, the people who make money off of all this, whether they're white or black, they keep throwing certain aspects of the culture in people's faces because they know it works, it's profitable. Like Puff Daddy talking to Puffy, whatever the fuck his name is, Diddy, Puffy, fucking whatever, fucking starting a new black political party. Like, what? What are you, fucking retard? Like, first of all, Nation of Islam, Malcolm X tried that shit. It failed. Second of all, like, nothing you're talking about is bettering any community. Well, let me guess, you're going to be the leader of it and make all the money off it and then give crumbs to everybody. Like, give me a break.
Free Ciroc
like,
for everybody.
Yeah, free. We'll accept the wick. We'll accept wick and snap. But, and it's like, yeah, it's just like, talk about real fundamental change. But you know what? I don't blame him 1,000% because his slave masters won't allow him to do that. He'll come to you and talk about this pro-black stuff because somebody behind the scenes told him, this is how you can make a lot of money. Help us get the minions in order, and we'll make you the house Negro. And that's what he's doing. And that's what happened with the Nation of Islam, because they were sharing the same paymaster as the KKK. J.L. Hunt, at the time, he was the richest man in the world from Texas. I've always told people this BLM shit. I said this 5 years ago. BLM, the KKK, the White Citizens Council, the Nation of Islam, they're all the same people, just different skin colors. They're all the same. And I said this to a car of 3 Africans and a Jamaican, and they looked at me like I was fucking crazy, but 6 years later, I was fucking right. So, anyway, I feel like I'm rambling, but people really need to think for themselves. People really need to understand that even if they truly believe a problem is a problem within the community, it can all be solved with very basic fundamental things like a 2-parent home, having respect for each other, and simple things like that. Before you do something stupid, have a better relationship with God, and before you do something, say, what would God do in this situation? You know what I mean? And you probably won't end up doing it. With that being said, I'll repeat myself again. It's still not as big of a problem as the 1%ers make them out to be. because they just want to make money off of it.
Excuse me, I was coughing. I didn't want y'all to hear that. That would have been very rude of me.
Yeah.
But like I say, it's there's always money. You got to always follow the money, because there's always somebody profiting off of something. If there's a situation somebody is eating off of it, I do agree with that.
And the thing is, I know I mentioned something to you last week, about how, the two-parent household rate was higher for all of America, but specifically for Black America during times of segregation. And then I think you said you went and you fact-checked a lot of that stuff, and most of it turned out to be pretty accurate. But then there's people out there that will say, well, that's what we need. We need to segregate. No, it wasn't because of segregation that you had better two-parent homes. It was because of the times that people respected the fundamentals of life more. They had a strong relationship with God. The custom was to not, have children out of wedlock. You were shamed for that. It wasn't $399, come get a divorce. That's the reason why there was more wealth and more two-parent homes and less drugs and less this and that. It was because fundamentals happened. It wasn't because of segregation. Segregation didn't help it. As a matter of fact, segregation hurt it, because redlining didn't allow Black people to buy homes in certain neighborhoods. So if anything, Black people were doing better when they had more in-your-face oppression. So it wasn't the oppression of the segregation that helped. It was who you were on the inside as a core person.
Well, like I said, I think where I would say that may be true, but I think with Black folks, you got to force them into shit. You know what I mean? Who was it called in? Was it the what was the phrase she used when the ass said, it was great. The white man's ice was colder. Right. And I think what happens is you have a lot of people who will go and see different things, and they'll start to deviate from those traditional things. I think it's a situation where, and I hate to say it, if you're forced, hey, this is your area. Well, then when this is yours, I think you're more likely. Well, let me fix that, because there's a lot of niggas living in certain areas now that ain't taking care of it. But I think when they had pride and family and all those things, that they took better care of their communities and environments. But then I think once you had that opportunity to open up, well, those who were doing better, they're like, fuck this, we finna get up out of here. And those who stayed, maybe they felt a particular kind of way and things began to deteriorate. And like I say, the mentality and things started changing. But look, I'm all about the forceful oppression if it gets it fixed.
I mean, you said earlier in your monologue, to play into what you just said, was about how as soon as because America started off as indentured slavery, not as chattel slavery, which is why you had almost as many free Blacks as enslaved Blacks back in the day. And there was many prosperous neighborhoods during actual times of chattel slavery. There were free Black prosperous neighborhoods. Yes, some of them got attacked, but there were many more that didn't. I just thought of, when you were talking about earlier, I thought about this. There was a place called Beverly Snow Eating Place, and there was some riots there. It was in Washington, D.C. It was a very prominent neighborhood. So, if you can get it done in the 1800s, there's no reason why the same thing can't be done in 2020. And it is. I'm not saying that it's not, but for anyone who believes that it can't, well, think about it. It was able to be done in the 1800s. It should be able to be done today, and it is. So get that negative thinking out of your head.
I mean, it can be done. Like you say, though, but it's going to take the mentality, and I think most people, kind of go back to the beginning of what you said, are cheap, and they're more concerned about, who's fucking who and who is dating this, who done broke up, who having kids, who's coming out the closet, what time this, that, and the third is going on, than to really direct that.
So let me ask you this:
in a positive way.
So being that you believe that, I'm going to pick your brain here. So when you hear something like, Trump's Platinum Plan, or Joe Biden talking about reparations and whatever else for Black people on the Democrat side, and then you hear Diddy coming out talking about our Black Party, and it's a bunch of nonsense that he lists in there, or the Nation of Islam preaching this, do you find all of that to be bullshit? Because a lot of that, either puts little or no focus on the fundamentals of having a better relationship with, God, having a two-parent home, getting back to fundamentals, not worshiping the price tag of the T-shirt, but the quality of the T-shirt, and then taking that extra money and building wealth by investing it.
No, I would absolutely agree. Like I say, I mean, when it comes to politicians, you talk about them again because they're figureheads and things like that. But I'll say that I don't give a fuck about any of them because none of them is going to do anything that's going to have a real impact on my life. It's about the decisions and the choices that I make. When I was doing shenanigans, no politician made me do any of those things. When I changed my mind and realized, hey, I need to get on track and do some things differently, no politician had a hand, and I didn't go looking for Obama or Bush or nobody. Well, what are they going to, how are they going to, none of them, not the governor, not anybody. So that's why I say I do agree. It comes down to an individual basis. And that's why I say I honestly don't give a fuck about none of them. And I hate to say it sounds kind of callous, not that I don't give a fuck about, but if you're not trying to progress and prosper, I don't give a shit because that's what I'm trying to get on. So if we're not on the same train, then it is what it is. But yeah, I think you have to focus on self. And you see, I'm a super cheap person. Like I believe in that. Like there's no way I'd buy a fucking $500 shirt. I wouldn't buy a fucking for me to buy some $500 shoes even. Like they would have to be more than dress shoes. There's no way I'd buy a fucking $500 pair of tennis shoes. They'd have to be something like real nice, some type of fucking rare animal skin or some shit. Like it would have to be some custom made. There's no fucking way I'd wear fucking orthopedic
alligator pimp shoes.
Yeah, I'd have to be really pimp, like real alligator. Like I want the snout and everything on the end of them hoes. Like it's got to be some real live shit. But why you motherfuckers paying $1,500?
You're not cheap. That's not. Well, what you're describing is not cheap. What you're describing is frugal. You'll spend money when it's worth it, when it's a good investment. Yeah. So you're not being. That's not cheap. Cheap is you sacrifice quality for price. Frugal is you pay. You're willing to pay up if the quality is there and it benefits your life.
Well, frugal is.
Yeah, you're frugal.
Yeah, but that's just the way I look at it. And again, I don't put a lot of value in materialistic shit. So. I mean, it's just that I have no interest in that. Like, as long as the clothes fucking fit, I'll keep them bitches forever. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not really into all that. Like right now, especially at this point, trying to build something great. That's my main focus. So yeah, I would agree. If you focus on yourself, you could do it.
Yeah, I mean, and also when it comes to reciting history, whether it's white history, black history, whatever history, good history, bad history. I think people have to understand that we get shown what people want us to see. Like people will say, well, a lot of this happened back in the day. Well, define a lot. Is a lot just a number on its own, or is a lot a number as a percentage of all the available instances that could have happened? You know what I mean? It's like, 230 black people were shot by the police last year and 400 white people were shot by the police. That's a lot. Okay. But a lot compared to what? There's 44 million black people in America. There's 250 million white people in America. So what is it? What's a lot? The number on its own, or the number when you compare it to, something to make an argument or a defense of? So, and that ties back into 2% of black people are in jail, 1% of white people are in jail. Which is a lot, 1% or 2%?
Neither's very much.
And I think that's where a lot of people get lost and suckered into the whole sheep game. Well, 2% is a lot. That's double of what 1% is. Okay. But 1% is a lot too. So is 2%. But then when you take both those numbers and compare it to the total population, they're both minuscule. So which side of the argument do you want to take? And then at the same time, if you commit the crime, you do the time. It's like going back to talking about the culture, is I always hear people saying, well, the CIA and the white racist government put crack into black neighborhoods. Okay. So let's just go with that for a second. And let's say that's your excuse. That's what happened. Okay. Who put heroin in white neighborhoods? Who put meth in white neighborhoods? The white government or the black government? Let me guess. White people just decided to do it on their own. It's just like, yeah, exactly. Right? It was fucking Ice Cube, and he was fucking crip walking, singing "One Nation Under a Groove." But my whole thing is you could sit here and talk about all these horrible things, and you could sit here and make all these excuses. And you know what? A lot of the times you can make a valid point, but then when you start comparing it to other things, it starts opening, might open your mind to things aren't as black and white, no pun intended, as people make them out to be. There are white people that have done horrible things for race relations. There are white people who have done wonderful things for race relations, and there are black people that have done wonderful things and fought for betterment of race relations, and there are black people that are evil and hindered race relations. So I mean, like, it's not black and white. So I don't know. I just feel like I've been on this phone call forever and I've been rambling.
Yeah, let me see. I haven't even checked the dilly dally.
Definitely raped the 10-minute rule.
10-minute rule. We once knew ye. It's been violated so long ago. It's been a real while. But yeah, like I said, I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on, and again, like I said, I do believe when I talk about, like, especially with the black perspective, I've talked often about, look at what other cultures have done who have been in similar situations and how they've gotten out of those things, or how they've thrived, how they've benefited. And we can talk about Asian Americans. And again, it's not the same level, but there was a level of persecution for Asian Americans who came over here building the railroads, things like that, getting their asses blown up. And then, look at what they did in the same country and how they were able to, find success. And right now they're sitting at the top compared to everybody. And
look at and the Irish, the Polish, the Italians. I mean, the Jewish. Gay people. There's every group of people. Women were oppressed in this country. Every group of people has had some form of systemic oppression. The Irish and the Italian got it a little bit less worse than blacks. Blacks got it the worst. But, I mean, the whole point is you could see shining examples in every group. And when I say I don't mean a few. I mean, there's lots of examples in every group. But somehow, when it comes to certain groups, there's a stigma that it can't be done for some reason. I don't know why. It's 2020. I don't know why people think like that. But, every group has faced its hardships, some more than others, yes, but there's no excuse in the year 2020. I mean, if you don't think, like, oh, well, this bank won't lend to black people. Okay, go to the next bank, because not every bank has been accused of not lending to black people. And then when you do the math and you load of black-owned banks, they actually lend at a lower rate to black people. They've done studies on that. And not every lawsuit that's against the bank for discrimination is not real. Sometimes they play into that, and then the banks have to settle because they don't want to go through a discovery, because the whole reason the lawsuit was put on them was to go through a discovery so trade secrets could be released, and then competitors can jump on that because they know the media, the people who run the media, love the racism story. So again, like, think outside the box. Exploitation has been going on since the beginning of time, and Caesar said during ancient Rome, give them a circus and some bread, and they'll forget about it. So that's what I thought about when I heard about P. Diddy talk about, I'm helping with the Platinum Plan and Trump offering it. When I hear about we have to give, the Jewish community this and this community that, and gays this and women this, I'm just like, bread in a circus, like, bread in a circus. All we have to do is just do the right thing, and you won't have to create special divisions to help people. When you create a special division to help somebody, what that says to me is you're not helping them. You're just looking for a way to make money. But anyway, I'm sure... Okay, so there's somebody in the chat room that's saying that, Wells Fargo, Bank of America, other banks have sued for racial discrimination. Okay, but that doesn't mean that it was true. That doesn't mean that it was factual. That doesn't mean that it was impactful on a systemic level within even the company. So, so the bottom line is, you can find instances of anything. Are they true? Were they nearly as effective in a negative way as the media played it out to be? Like, and what percentage of the problem within a particular community is responsible because of that particular instance? So, again, you could say, well, my credit score was 750 and they denied me. so therefore they're racist because they gave the white guy who had 750 credit score. This happened to my black friend, by the way. He has a credit score in the 700s. I'm going to be honest. He has a bunch of properties down south and in New York. He makes between $300,000 and $500,000 a year, and he has a credit score in the 700s. He went to go buy a $1 million condo, and they denied him. And he's like, it's bullshit. They, fucking my credit score's in the 700s. I just don't think they want a black guy living there. I said, is that really what you got out of that? He's like, yeah. I was like, why? He's like, well, my credit score is good. I make great money. Everyone's impressed by my 1099s when I show it to them. I said, okay. I said, how much debt do you have? I said, because you have all these commercial and residential buildings. He's like, oh yeah, they said that's what they didn't like about my credit. I was like, yeah, asshole, you're fucking leveraged to the gills, and I've been telling you this for 4 years. You know what I mean? So when someone says like, black people walked in with the same credit profile, bullshit. Bullshit. I'm sure there's some out there that did, but bullshit in general. People sue to hurt their competitors, and think about it. Like, what is a woman? Perfect example. Let's bash some women now. What does a woman do when she fucks with you, and she deserves the wrath of God to be brought to her, and you actually do it? What does she do? Oh my God, no, I'm a woman. No, you can't do that. Oh my God. Right? That's what society does when they want to sue somebody. Oh, like, you're doing too good. You know what? Let's fucking drum up a lawsuit against them. You know what I mean? Like, look at Hunter Biden right now, right? What? I mean, like, you know what I mean? Like, you think it's a coincidence that 2 weeks before the election the laptop information drops?
Oh, no.
You know what I mean? You think it's a coincidence? Now here's the thing. Like, the crack part's probably true. I mean, we all know he had an addiction problem. But what's they're dropping it right now to help, the competitor of Joe Biden, which is the Trump campaign. You know what I mean? And if there is, issues of foreign intelligence and national security in there, yeah, then it should be looked into. But my whole point is, not everything is what you see. Like there's a lot of magic tricks out there on TV. You know what I mean? Like, CNN was talking about how Trump's a racist because he had to settle a housing discrimination lawsuit. But they don't tell you was that he did rent to black people during that time period. But there wasn't enough black people who qualified the income requirements back in the 70s, so therefore he wasn't up to par with the population percentage. You know what his settlement was? He had to work with the NAACP to give them a flyer of the vacancies so they can bring him qualified black people to buy those properties. And when they did that, he sold it to them, or he rented it to them. But the whole time CNN was telling you this, what they didn't tell you was that they were being sued in a class action lawsuit for racial discrimination because they weren't paying supposedly the black interns, but they were paying the white interns. So it's all smoke and mirrors. People will use anything as a weapon. Sexism, racism, homophobia, whatever. A woman will do it to a man. She'll fucking spit in your face. She'll smack you across your fucking head, put her fucking fingers in your forehead and push you back. But the second you slap her back, hello, 911, my husband's trying to kill me. People weaponize everything. So stop being a sheep and stop believing that every little thing you read is the truth. And if you're black, they know the hot button things. Let's make pretend this evil white devil did this because of racism. Black people ain't going to question that. Yep, white people sure is racist. There you go. Told you we're oppressed. Stop being a sheep.
So you're saying don't always believe it. So you're telling me right now, John, I'm not really in an office chair in the clouds?
What I'm saying is Nick Sandman did not assault or abuse that Native American man. Yeah. But the media told you he did. Oh, yeah. But when they showed you the full video, it was the black guys from the Nation of Islam who started it by calling them little faggots. And not once did those white kids say anything racial back. They were not once that Indian man marched towards them. They didn't march towards the Indian man. But the media told you, spoiled little white devil or brat fucking kid raised by the evil fucking hand of white supremacy, the disgusting white woman who gives birth to racist white men. That's what they sold to you because they know you'd eat that shit up. And then what happened? The fucking kid won an 9-figure lawsuit. Don't believe everything you read. They exploit the problems in America.
That kid's paid. It's like, duh, you get, oh man, so paid for such a trivial thing too. That's crazy. But you know, they had that impact on his life by putting those lies and those misrepresentations out there. So you know, it is what it is. Because had people continued to believe if the real, video would have never came out, his life could have been ruined. So.
Yeah, I mean, see, and this is the thing. Like this guy, I don't pronounce his name. Teron Wilder. You know, he's saying like, oh, it's true. There were black people who had great credit scores and incomes who were charged higher. I believe you. I agree with you. But my point to you is, how many times did it happen, and how large of a scale did it happen? Don't believe everything you read. Like, are there businesses right now as we speak that are doing that? Absolutely. What percentage of all businesses are doing that? And even if they get busted, which they should if they're doing that, to what degree were they really doing it? You know what I mean? Like, it's ridiculous. That's my point. I'm not saying that none of this really happened. All I'm saying is it's thrown in your face to make it appear like it's happening all over. And every single day, as soon as you leave the house, you're getting shot by a gang member. You're getting hit with fucking child support fucking papers. You're getting hit with this. You're finding out you have HIV. But, like, stop. Like, it's overdone. Like, HIV was killing America in the 80s. Less than 1% of America has it. Now, I'm not saying we shouldn't help people who have HIV and work on cures and all that shit, but this idea that, like, we were all going to die of HIV because less than 1 million people had it at the time when the population was probably, around 250 million in the 80s in America? That's what I'm trying to say to you. Doom and gloom is what they're doing. They make everything sound like it's way worse than it really is, or it happens way more often than it really does.
I don't believe that because, again, that's the the job of big media to keep you fearful. Fear sales, sex sales, things like that. So if you're afraid, you're going to keep tuning in, and they're going to keep getting those advertising dollars.
Yeah.
So.
Like, if you hear about a horrible story and you hear about a similar story once a year, you're going to feel some type of way about it. But if you hear a story like that every single day, you're going to think like, oh my God, the walls are closing in on me. I can't make it in life. This shit happens every fucking day. Ugh. Like, they know how to get you. They have the greatest minds working for them against you.
I have a question for you, Mr. John. And I guess Mr. Teron too. It seems like he's had some things, according to some of your comments. Would you be up for a debate?
Yeah, sure.
Mr. Tarrant in the chat, let me know if you'd be up for a debate, and I'll put put it all together. Because he seemed
did he ask for one?
I'm asking. I've just noticed that he's had some things, so I guess that way to you can. I think it's
I
always better
have
to talk directly. I think
I'm totally fine with it. I'm totally fine having a debate. I don't know if it's a man or a woman. I don't want to be rude to him or her, with whoever it may be. I have a problem. Okay, cool. I don't have a problem dating. I don't have a problem debating him or anyone really. I could tell by what he's writing that him and I are going to agree on the fact that things have happened. I think where we're going to disagree as to what extent.
Okay. Do me a favor, Taryn. Text the denline so I make sure I got the right number for you, because I know you called him, but I don't want to mix it up. They have called somebody else while they're at work, or if they significant other, they side other, then I'm fucking their plans up. So, I know how some of you in the DMs get down with your shenanigans. But yeah, give me just a second to get his number, then we'll do that. But yeah, like I said, I do believe that a lot of it is pushing. Again, like I said, I've said often, I do believe, we as black folks are extremely emotional, that it is easier to sell certain things.
Extremely. Kanye West said it best. Like, a very prideful group of people. That's why every time I call and I talk about race relations, I always set at least one or two people off. You know why every time? Because I know how to do it. You know why? Because it's very easy to do. Yeah, I don't want to be rude, but black people have been figured out for a long time. Like the same thing said, and I've always told you, it's always the same thing. They get extremely emotional, they go crazy yelling, and then towards the end of the conversation, they end up saying the same thing I said in different words too. So basically, they agree with me the whole time. It's the same thing. My black friends and I laugh because they're just like, yeah, they're like, you're fucking right, it's sad. I'm like, yeah, it's why it works every fucking time, because it works.
And so I have a text that came in while I'm waiting to check the other one. And I'll keep it anonymous. It says, I know it's not my place to say this, but black people should stop blaming white people about their problems. I agree. And I agree because I've said, we had a comment, this was a while back, and I did a video, and we were talking about Black Power, and I made it a point to try to speak the whole video and not mention, or try to keep the frame of the context of it, not mention white people, because every time we get to having conversation about Black Power, this, and all it, like the conversation goes to talking about white people, and so my thing is. So tell me, what is Black Power without white people? Do you need white people to have Black Power? Is it something that you can generate on your own? Like, why does the conversation always go there? What happens if all the white people were to disappear today? What does that change the issues? Does that change the problems? And once you start saying things like that, it gets kind of quiet or convoluted, or people don't have much to say because that's all it's based off of. Again.
Can I add to that? Can I give my 2 cents to that?
Yes.
Okay. I think that a lot more black people than are, for lack of a better term, given credit for. There's a lot more black people who don't blame white people for their problems. I think that's a stereotype that gets pushed out in the media more often, or just amongst people. I think there's a lot of black people that understand that a lot of the problems that are facing black people today might have been exacerbated at some point in time by white people, but it's black people who are not putting a stop to it today, because black people have the power to control their own lives. If you don't want to be a baby mama, don't spread your legs, or go on birth control, or have a plan B. Like, there's ways to not be a single mother. If you don't want to be in jail for selling drugs because Joe Biden put the 94 crime bill out there, don't be selling fucking crack to the kids in the neighborhood. Like, these are these are things, and I know someone's going to say, well, there's innocent people being locked up. Yes, and it's less than 5% of all convictions they've found to be false or tampered with or whatever. So those 5%, I want them to have all the help in the world to get out. But my whole point is, like, yeah, you could sit here and say that white people played a hand in everything that black people has led to negative things within the black community. Absolutely, you can't disagree with that. But black people have all the power to stop doing a lot of the things that people like you may feel is destroying the culture.
Absolutely. Hold on one second. I got the number. I'm finna plug it up.
All right. Plug it up. Plug it up.
Mr. Key, how you doing?
Hello.
Hello, Mr. Tarrant.
Yeah, what's going on?
All right, Mr. John, Mr. Tarrant, y'all both there?
I'm here.
Okay. All right, and y'all can hear each other? Make sure everything's all copacetic here.
I'm here.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yes. Okay. So there were some things that Mr. John was saying there, Taryn, that you kind of seemed like you wanted to kind of address. Was there anything specific that you kind of wanted to start with, or what was it that you were kind of disagreeing with that he was saying? Oh, no, it hung up.
Hello?
Yeah, I don't know. I think it hung up. His call disconnected. I'm not sure what happened. Okay. So just drop. All right, give me a second. I'll call you right back. Hold on. That's the right one. Yeah. All right, let's try that again. And then I'm gonna call when y'all find out y'all got that musical voicemail like we used to do back in the 90s and shit. I'm gonna talk about y'all. You there?
Yeah, let me get logged onto my computer because my phone and it's trying to play the video on YouTube.
Oh, okay.
And the call at the same time it's interrupting the connection somehow.
Okay. All right.
Let me get logged in.
Okay. Here, I'm gonna put you on hold for just a second.
All right.
Yeah, give me one moment because I had a package delivered. That's my thing. I don't want my crazy white neighbor stealing my Amazon packages. that. Let's see, I think he, let's burn and undo. Are we both there?
I'm here.
You may still-
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay.
I'm good to go. I'm here.
Okay. That's cool. So you were saying some things I was seeing in the chat. There were some things that John was saying that you seemed to kind of disagree with. What was it? Maybe that a specific point that you kind of had different feelings about.
The black economics part. The black economics part. The black economics part. It's like, what is going on right now?
It's kind of repeating.
Maybe there's a radio on in the background, or the YouTube is on in the background, echoing.
Yeah, it could be. If you got a stream on with the volume on, you might be doing that too.
Okay.
All right.
This is my first time being on live, so you're going to have to bear with me. This is my first time being on live, so you're going to have to bear with me. This is my first time being on live, so you're going to have to bear with me. Doing that repeating shit. God damn it. Do you want to go to the Discord and have it?
Man, John is anti-Discord, so I've been trying to convince him to come into the Discord, come into the Den Paradise, but he refuses. Yeah, I'm not sure. It's kind of crazy.
Am I echoing when I speak?
No, I'm not catching that echo.
Am I echoing when I speak?
Now it is. So maybe it's coming through the stream. Is the stream playing somewhere else? Did you have the volume on the stream somewhere?
No, I don't have the volume. I don't have the volume on, but I'm actually going to just get out of the whole stream altogether.
I'm not sure about that.
I'm out of the stream altogether. And I just heard myself echo.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to figure out where that echo is coming from. I'm not sure what's going on. Here we go. This is what we're gonna do.
Maybe are you able to mute yourself, Honcho? Maybe it's on your end, and then him and I can talk without an echo. Let's see if that works.
I'm muting myself right now.
Is it still echoing?
Yeah, a little bit. It's not that bad though.
All right, let's just try to see how much of a conversation we can have, and see if we can make it happen. If not, if it gets too ugly, then we'll just we'll figure something out.
Okay.
Just there, said stop stealing the neighbor's Wi-Fi. All right, anyway, getting to it. So the economic part, I somewhat disagree with, because there has been agendas that have crippled black economics on purpose. Repeating the same thing? Sounds like it was out of a submarine. Honcho, we're gonna have to get in the Discord, man.
Yeah, this is not going as properly planned. But we'll make sure. I do appreciate you for trying to get it right. Look, maybe I don't know. Maybe this will convince Mr. John to come check us out in the Discord. Not.
I don't know, man. Man Cave is saying that Nas and the firm tapped your phone. So I don't know.
Oh my God, Nas and the firm. I haven't heard that one in a long time. Good grief. Oh, that's funny. Okay.
But yeah, I mean, I hear you fine now. The echo's gone.
Yeah, I'm not sure what was going on there, but here's the deal. Matter of fact, what time is it? Okay.
Yeah, as far as the economic plan thing is, I mean, I'm going to guess where he was going with that, which is, black people have been redlined and denied certain, privileges, blah, 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 blah. I have a feeling he's going to go. My guess is he was going to go somewhere there. That's also happened to the majority of Americans. It's happened to the Irish. It's happened to the Italians. It's happened to the Japanese. And on top of that, not all the people who were oppressing black people were white people. A lot of them were black people. You have race pimps. You had actual black slave masters back in the day. You had black people who joined in cahoots with white people to oppress black people. So white people weren't the only beneficiaries of it, and nor were black people the only disadvantaged because of it throughout American history. Are you still there, Honcho?
Yeah, I'm still here. I just I'm tinkering with something.
Okay, so yeah, so I mean, then how do you tell a black person today, like, well, you're poor because of those reasons in the past? Okay, so what does that mean? Like, an upper class or middle class black person should get less of a privilege at a loan with a bank because they're not poor and black? So I think the logistics of it is a hot mess. And that's why I said you should do a plan for all Americans. And what you should say is no one should be discriminated against. Everyone should have an equal opportunity to get the money as long as you qualify. And if you don't, we will go straight to the source and tell them this is wrong, it's illegal, you need to do it, instead of setting up separate plans. Because when they're setting up separate plans, it's not a plan for you, it's a plan for them. Because they're going to put their people in place and they're going to skim off the top. It's just like when Lowe's and the NFL and all these major companies came out and said we're going to donate or pledge $100 million for this and $30 million for that. For what? Like I think it was Bank of America said we're going to pledge this amount of money to help low-income black people. I'm like, no. Like, if you want to help them, give them the money directly. Don't give them the loan. Give them the money. So that $30 million is to be spent on you advertising to black people. Like, this is what I'm trying to get at. Yeah. Like, when they say we're going to spend $100 million on helping black people, what it really means is we're spending $100 million on our advertising campaign to help us help you to help us. So that's why I feel like, and also, like, with the whole, like, reparations thing, like, you gotta, I'm just being rude, you gotta get over that. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm not saying this about the particular guy I was supposed to debate. I don't know if he feels this way or not. I'm just saying this in general. Like, you could feel that you're owed something all you want. That's fine. You're entitled to feel that way. And personally, I think you are owed something, but you're not going to get it. So figure something out that's more effective. Be a little more creative with it. Again, because then it comes down to logistics, and then it's like, do you help all black people, or do you only help the poor black people? Do you hinder the black people that were part of the oppression, or do you give them a pass? Like, it's just, and then it's like, and then it's how do you get the rest of America to understand? They're not, So it's just like, it's to me, it's a big bread and circus movement. You don't need to create 1,000,001 things to help a problem. You just do the right.
Uh-oh. You still there? Let me see. I don't know what might have happened there, but the call dropped. All right, but shout out to New York John. What's the motherfucking deal? Who we got calling in to the den this afternoon?
This is my first time being on live. You gotta bear with me. This is my first time being on live. You gotta bear with me. This is my first time being on live. You gotta bear with me. You hear the echo?
Prepaid. What's the motherfucking deal, man?
Man, I'm over here Cadillacing, man. I'm just giving my man a hard time, bro. This is a topic that needs to be discussed, bro, and we need to discuss this more often until this shit gets through to people. Black culture, first and foremost, I love black culture. I mean black culture as in black people in America and the things that we've gravitated towards. What I hate about black culture is how they take the worst elements of it and this is what they glorify. For example, let's get into it. Every year, young black men graduate from high school and they go off to college. Every year, I don't know the exact number, whatever the case may be. And we, as a culture, we don't celebrate these kids. We don't celebrate them leaving home and becoming men and going to college to go get that, the next level of education. We don't. Every year, at the same time when those men go off to college, there's another group of men who all go to prison and jail. Those same men, the first group of men go off to college and their families and their friends tell them to figure it out. They rarely get any financial help. If you leave the city you live in or leave the state, people rarely come visit you. But if you go to jail, you're going to have a whole bunch of visits.
Yes.
They're not going to miss a weekend coming to see you. If you go to prison, they're going to make sure they put money on your books. Yet every last college kid I know all have eaten either without eating or were so broke that we lived off McDonald's. Why is that? Why is that? You can't. You don't feel justified sending me $20 to go have lunch, but you feel good by running down there and putting 20 on Rodney's books. The person who's trying to make this world better, we don't celebrate in our community. The person who continues to rob, shoot, and kill and catch bodies, he never goes out of his commissary.
But you know what else about that you mentioned prepaid? Because when Rodney come home, he get a party. When you graduate, don't nobody give a fuck.
No one cares. No one cares. In fact, college graduations have become so minute in the black community. When you graduate, you can't even be happy about it. Motherfuckers are, oh, you did what you're supposed to do. Mm-hmm. This nigga ain't do nothing but came home from prison. They had to let him out if he didn't do life. Mm-hmm. But y'all celebrate that shit. It's pathetic, man. It's pathetic. It goes into our culture to where we have so many brilliant black minds, and it frustrates me so much, Honcho, because we have so many black entrepreneurs, business owners, doctors, lawyers, attorneys. You know who we celebrate? George Floyd, rappers, baby mamas, strippers. At one point, do we as black people, as black culture, when I say black culture, I don't mean just black people, because if you're white and you're part of the culture, then I'm talking to you also. Hispanics, Asians, anybody who's a part of black culture. At one point do we start gravitating to those who actually are successful and want to do it the right way? At what point do you say, you know what, man, these motherfuckers who ain't doing right, we just not gonna let them represent us anymore. But we refuse to do that. We refuse to do that. Y'all out here protesting and rallying and tearing up shit every time a criminal gets killed by a cop. Motherfuckers with long rap sheets get killed, and all of a sudden y'all out here, y'all want to burn the city up. Now let a good cop, let a cop who dedicated his life for fighting crime and injustice, let him go out here and get shot and killed. Y'all scroll right past that.
Yeah, oh, buddy, yesterday in the city, 41 years.
Yeah.
HPD.
41 years. 41 years.
Couple of weeks. What do you say?
Domestic violence.
From retirement.
Yeah, he was 3 weeks away from retirement, bro. 3 weeks away from retirement, bro. That man goes and answers domestic violence calls. For any of y'all who don't know about law enforcement, that is the number one leading cause of death for a police officer, is answering domestic violence calls. Which is kind of the reason why when they show up to Jacob Blake, that's why he ended up getting his ass shot so many times, because it was a domestic violence call. But that's not here nor there. Let's continue with the worst elements of black culture. You know, I touched on this a couple times when I called in the past. We have our athletes who are willing to break bones, tear ligaments, risk life and limb every Sunday on the football field so they can buy their mother a home. As an athlete, you should not be driven and living to provide for your mother. That creates so many inherited problems that we as black people don't even see. We don't even see past how fucked up that is. You are living for the approval of your mother. Now listen, I'm not telling you can't live. I'm not telling you not to love your mother. Look, she gave you life. She's been there for you. You should not be living your life for her approval. Because these same men get married and they're still living for the approval of their fucking mothers. 6'4", 260 pounds of muscle, and you don't know if he can go out of television because his mama got plans already. It's pathetic. It's pathetic. Because what happens is these same men become fathers and they become husbands. And now they're still living for the approval of a woman. Our culture won't put out strong black men who take care of their family. We don't put out strong black men who are there in the community to help raise other people's children, such as our coaches, such as, counselors and teachers and things of that nature. However, we will put out the black man who has fierce pumps and long fingernails, who has decided that he's going to be a woman. Listen, if Tim decides to go be Tanya and now he identifies as a woman, stop mentioning him with black men. Stop giving him a voice. Let him talk with the black women. So when they get mad, he can beat them all up. If y'all claim he's a woman now, let him go over here and beat up the black women. But stop associating him with us. Yeah. It's a part of our culture to where black women don't let black men lead unless they make X amount of dollars, unless they, are 6'4", in shape, whole bunch of tattoos, make $400,000, drive this car, live in this house. Okay, now he can lead the house. Okay, since when? Since when? That's a part of our culture because it's in our music. It's if you want to get our attention, you ingrain it into our music and ingrain it into our entertainment, and now you have us. It's a part of our culture to where we tell black people, black people get mad. We're not a monolith. We're not all the same people. Okay, I'm gonna vote for such and such. You're a fucking coon and a fucking sellout. Well, god damn, what just happened here? What just happened here? It's a part of this culture to where we are going to ostracize anybody who doesn't agree with us. It doesn't matter if this person is right or wrong for their opinion. It doesn't matter if they actually did the research and they're, they have, educate themselves and they're going to make a decision on who they're going to vote for on their own. It's the fact you don't agree with the mass and now we must ostracize you. This is a part of our culture. It's the same culture who tells our young people that if they're not wearing this designer or that designer, that their life don't matter. You can barely feed yourself. Fuck them Air Jordans, bro. Now, when you get to a point in your life when you can afford all that nice shit, go buy all of it. You made it. But if you don't have the money to purchase it, why are you buying it? It's
messed up in the meantime, like Kanye said. What if they ain't got the land? They'll settle for the brand.
They'll settle for a brand, and that's a fact, man. And the thing about it is that, speaking of Kanye, it really blows my mind that Kanye gave you all these gems for all these years, told you so much truth, and the one time he did something that you didn't agree with, y'all decided to cancel him. Yeah. And everything he said came to fruition. It's so crazy that a person he's so fucking crazy, but somehow or another he landed on his feet and he was right about everything he was saying. Exactly. That just happens to be some of the most wild shit ever. But again, let's call a spade a spade. Everybody's talking about cancel culture now. Cancel culture started in the black community.
Yeah.
We were doing that. We started that shit. Anytime a black person got out of line and said something they didn't agree with, they done with. Kanye did more for Chicago than probably 90% of people y'all celebrate who from Chicago, who live there. 90% of people. I'll say 99%. Yeah. I've seen video of Kanye getting out of a fucking truck and giving people free sneakers, free clothes, free food. I ain't never seen Common doing that. But Common sure got a lot to say about a lot of shit. You know what I'm saying? Think about it. Think about it. You think about it. You look at black culture, right? And black culture is one of those things to where we pick and choose who we give it to. But if you're part of the culture, you all good until you step out of that line. See, Ice Cube ain't do nothing wrong. Ice Cube just stepped out of that line. As long as Ice Cube was talking about how bad black people had in America, preach, Cube, speak, tell them about it, Cube, tell them how fresh we got it, fucked up out here. All right, and when Cube was saying how much the wealth gap was, Cube, speak, niggas, let them know. These crackers need to know. All right, I'm gonna meet with some people and see if I get some solutions. This nigga is so loud. God damn it! Don't fucking give us no solutions. We didn't really want that help, nigga. We just was talking. You bullshitting. Don't give us no fucking help.
We trying to complain. We don't want the solution.
We just want to complain. God damn it. Us and the white liberals just want to hang out and complain, bro. Don't send no fucking help over here. Don't send no fucking help over here. And let me tell you another thing about black culture. Black culture has decided that we're going to magnify the small percentage of shit and then erase the majority of shit. Majority of black people in America have never, ever experienced racism.
Correct.
For all you niggas on the den right now who up north, don't even try to lie and say y'all experienced racism. Man, y'all should be Myrtle Beach. I know y'all haven't. We out here in the heart of the South, and I ain't never experienced the shit. I ain't never experienced it. So I know it's not true. Y'all still yelling about the KKK. I'm kissing 40, y'all. Been living in the South my whole life. I ain't never seen the Klan. I ain't gonna see them. It's not real. It's not real. But that's one small percentage of a person who said they seen the Klan at one time. We gonna talk about that shit until the day we die. Nigga gonna yell about Klan rally till the day they die. Nigga ain't seen that one Klan rally. I did hear the gunshots though downtown at the club. I did hear the gunshots at that, but we ain't gonna talk about that. I did hear about the triple homicide on a Tuesday. That happened, but let's talk about the Klan.
And who are those? The triple homicides. I caught that this morning. What were they? What was their occupation? Do you recall?
I don't recall. You got any info on that?
Yeah, triple homicide at the DD Club today here in Houston, or last night about 2:30 in the morning. I think they said 3 rappers got killed.
Lord have mercy.
Just had a fight in the club, and 3 young up and coming rappers here in Houston killed.
So they must have been there fighting social injustice. That's what happened. It was a big misunderstanding. It was social injustice. They were going to go attack the Klan, and they accidentally shot themselves.
Had to be it.
That's what happened. That's what happened. So here's the crazy part. What happens more often in the black community? Do we have the Klan rally when they burn the crosses, or do we have the triple homicide at the club on a regular ass Tuesday?
Got the club going up on a Tuesday.
On a Tuesday, I'm telling you, you can come in here and drink 1942, or you can fucking die. Depends what Tuesday you walk in this motherfucker. It just depends. But that's who we are. But that's who we are. That's who we are as a culture. That's who we are as a culture. We allow celebrities to tell us how to live our life when they can't tell you anything about being black in America anymore. They can't. Bro, do y'all know these black celebrities be having homeboys, family members who be having clothing lines, who be trying to get you off the ground, and they don't wear none of their shit? Correct. Have y'all ever thought about that? Think about that shit. They drip in Gucci and all this other bullshit, but they gonna tell you about keeping it real.
And all they gotta do is put it on.
They gonna tell you about the culture.
I said all they have to do is put it on one time, and they probably will be on for
one
life.
time. They had to wear that shit one time. Heaven forbid they fuck around and wear the Gucci pants and put on their homeboy T-shirt. Heaven forbid that happens. Oh my God, what type of sellout would do some shit like that? Kanye once said this, man. He said, it made us love their wealth and hate ourselves. That's why Shorty's yelling where the ball is at. How does this man keep dropping the gems and y'all keep missing it? A lot of black people, and I don't mean just black, a lot of people in black culture are living damn good lives. But the media makes us love their wealth and hate ourselves. We're not even satisfied as a people. Fam, if you got a house, I'm not talking about if you own a home. If you live in an apartment or you live in a home, you pay your mortgage, you pay your bills. You got food in the fridge. You got clothes on your back. You got shoes on your feet. Everybody I know got a closet full of clothes. You got the latest TV, iPads, Xbox, PlayStation. You got Wi-Fi. You got a MacBook. Bro, you done made it. Life is going good. You don't owe nobody no money. If you got kids, take care of your kids. Bro, you doing damn good. Fuck you sitting around here crying about how much money Jay-Z got for? Who gives a shit?
That's super funny too.
Sit back and reflect.
I was talking about that's the thing that bothers me, that we do focus on other people's money so much. That's why I say, like, I hate when they talk about athletes when they get new contracts and how much money they get. Like, why are we talking about this? You know, you're like, why is this a thing? Like, and I get the cap hits and all that, but why are we so obsessed with other people's money? Like, shit,
because the media push it on us. Because the media push it on us. Listen, man, if y'all talk about people talk about Wall Street stocks and bonds, man, you can't ask the motherfucker on Wall Street how much JJ Watt contract is worth. You can't. But in the barbershop, they're going to be able to tell you that shit. It made us hate ourselves and love their wealth. We lived through this shit. We got more smoke for an athlete who's underperforming with a big contract than we do for our fucking governor who ain't doing shit for you. You got a mayor in your city. All this nigga do is tell people to mask up, and he putting people on naughty lists. Nigga, we got all this shit going, all this fucking crime. This is what you worry about, but we don't hold these people accountable. Right now in America, I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna say this shit and be done with it. Right now in America, you got black celebrities shunning black people for not voting Democrat. You got black celebrities getting mad at black people because they feel like Democrats own our vote. We got people in America right now who need another stimulus check. We got people who need small business, the funding for small businesses. We got people who need unemployment benefits. Dog, you ain't heard a celebrity yet come out and say anything about that.
No.
Why is that? Because they don't live in the real fucking world. Every time they endorse somebody, they getting paid to endorse these people. Their life can't be shaken. Their life can't be moved regardless of the fact. If you got $160 million, you could put a motherfucking can of Lysol in office. It ain't gonna matter to them. But for us, regular people, working class, and yes, y'all are part of working class. We're all a part of middle working class, y'all. If you get up every day and you get up every morning, mad and the motherfucker still take your ass to work and still do what you gotta go do, bro. For the people like us, life is different for us, and we gotta start seeing that shit together, as a culture, as a community. Life is different for us. You know what I'm saying? Celebrities come out and make it very big. Look, 50 Cent came out and told y'all, I'm not voting for niggas putting a tax on my motherfucking money.
They was mad at us. I forgot all about it. Yeah, they was mad at 50 for being honest. And he showed them the numbers on the screen. They still mad at him.
How you get mad at that? Fam, you supposed to be voting. I keep telling y'all, man, voting is quid pro quo. I vote for you, you do this for me. If you won't do this for me, I don't vote for you.
Correct.
That's just the way it's gonna work. How in the fuck? Listen to me. If you live in the state of Texas, how are you voting for Joe Biden? He's talking about taking away fracking. If oil and gas leave Texas, y'all, we are cooked.
Yes.
We have the strongest economy in the United States for a reason, because we got a stranglehold on oil and gas. How dense can you be? We got the most millionaires per square mile for a reason, because of oil and gas, because of fracking. I vote with my wallet. That's how this whole thing works. That's how this whole thing works. I'm voting for the motherfucker who is securing the 401k. If you are fucking up my 401k, I'm not finna argue about you. Just know I'm not voting for you, fam. Good luck to you. And I'm sure if Joe Biden win, he might have some good policies. I ain't voting for the bitch. He ain't doing it to help me out. That's the way it should be, bro. And here's the crazy part. For all the celebrities that y'all run behind in the black community and black culture, think about this. 50 Cent may not have not even a tenth of the amount of wealth that these people have. So if 50 Cent did the math and counted and realized what Joe Biden was doing, y'all don't think P. Diddy didn't do the math? He only has probably 100 times more money. Y'all don't think Jay-Z did the math? Y'all don't think Beyonce did the math? Fam, y'all really, in y'all mind, y'all really think that these people be voting for Joe Biden? Diddy is the greediest motherfucker of all time. He fucked every artist he had. Literally. And this nigga telling you how capitalism is bad? Come on, y'all, wake up. Jay-Z sold Kanye's masters so he can get his masters. Wow. Do you know how fucked up that is?
Did not know that.
Yes, he sold Kanye's masters to get his masters. No, and he got all his masters besides one. And you know which one he don't have.
Which one is that?
The one he wants the most, he ain't got reasonable doubt, and he'll never get it. Dame Dash said that bitch will never get it. But that's crazy. And listen, if I know a lot of y'all I ain't really getting how this works. That would be like a slave turning in another slave so that he can become free. That is what Jay-Z did to Kanye. And you want me to believe this person is a down hard Democrat. That's what you want me to believe. Oh, okay. All right. Okay. I guess it's just, I guess it's just one of those things where it's clown hour. It's clown hour. And before I go, I want to touch on something, because Teran and John were finna have this discussion. And Teran, it sounds like you're a black man, so I'm gonna say this. Teran, just because John is white, be outraged because of what he's saying. You think it's not true, not because he's white. Because a lot of times, majority of the time, 95% of the time, people challenge John because he's white, not because what he said they don't agree with. Because what he's saying is completely true. You can't take an isolated incident and say that all banks are racist or they're the reason for the wealth gap in America. No, that's not true. You have a credit to debt ratio. If you have a high amount of debt to credit ratio, they're not going to give you that loan, bro. Now, if you walk in here with a 780 credit score and your FICO score is booming, they're going to, let me tell you something, they're going to make sure you get every loan your heart desire. Because you've proven you've met every qualification. But if you're not going to come out and call a spade, you back here lying to us again. And understand something, y'all, when it comes to these lawsuits, just because they're paying out lawsuits don't mean they're acknowledging their guilt. They're paying lawsuits because they want to keep doing business. You think a motherfucker who make $800,000 a day give a fuck about $8,000? Man, get them people that $8,000 and going about our business. Y'all really think that Trump was paying people because he was discriminating against them? Nah, bro. Trump said, "Here, man, give these niggas they little funky little thing and let me go build some more apartments." I don't give a fuck about that shit. Celebrities pay out people all the time, bro, because it's the cost of doing business. Broke people think they really want something. No, bro, you just gave them some pennies. I'm giving you this money so you can leave me the fuck alone. Now, here goes your little $20,000, sign this NDA, and keep my fucking name out your mouth. That's the real world, y'all. That's how this whole thing works. Why would Trump sit up here and fight with a motherfucker saying that they got discriminated against when you got whole fucking casinos? I'm arguing about a goddamn apartment complex and I got a whole casino being built. Let's do the math on that. Make a couple $100,000 off this. Or make some fucking millions at the casino. Come on, y'all. Wake up. Wake up. Culture, bro. That's a part of our culture. We think every time a lawsuit happens, it's time to celebrate. If I see one more nigga celebrate by one nigga getting her lawsuit to be able to continue her lawsuit versus Netflix, Lord have mercy. She won. No, the fuck she didn't. All the judge said was there's enough evidence for her to move forward. She's finna get to court. Netflix is finna go out here and tear her motherfucking ass up, and they're gonna say Netflix has no duty to pay you what you want to be paid.
Correct.
There's no duty there.
I'm trying to figure out how is that even a thing? Like, how you gonna tell somebody this is what they have to give you? If they don't want your shit, then they don't have to take it. Here's the thing. The court systems are created so that y'all can keep bringing frivolous lawsuits in here. We got bills too. That's how the system works. So if you decide you want to pay an attorney $100,000 to represent you, that means the clerk of court get paid. That means judges get paid. If you want to bring them in here and fight this shit, all Netflix gonna do is send the attorney go ahead and just kill you. Our offer was more than fair. Okay, well why? Well, these are the algorithms we use to pay people. Chris Rock had 26 million people watch his stand-up. Monique, your last stand-up had 6,000 people watching. So we offer you $50,000. Well, it's kind of hard to fight that. What she gonna get up and say? For racial injustice and injustices in America. Don't nobody give a flying fuck about none of that shit. You can yell out motherfucking Philando Castile name all you want to in court, bitch. You're not getting no money, but you can't explain it to black people. Now, here's the funny thing about it. Let's say, for example, Netflix decides to settle with Monique. You know what they're gonna say? Okay, Monique, you're probably right. We probably should offer you more. How about we give you $100,000 and we just part ways? Monique won. No, she did not. What's $100,000 to a motherfucker who making $10 million a day? No. It's the cost of doing business. It's not hard. It's this concept is not hard, y'all. And I feel like with black people, if we got it as bad as y'all say we do, y'all say we live the worst, we got it the worst, slavery, all this bullshit. How come when it comes to the truth, y'all want to be coddled all the time? If life is so fucked up, why y'all got to be coddled when the truth come out? Black people, niggas who love culture, anybody involved with black culture. Let me explain it to you. Ain't nobody finna save you but you. Nobody. I'm almost 40, y'all. The savior never came. He ain't coming. He ain't coming. The only savior that I believe in is gonna depart from the cloud. And they said we don't know what day he coming. Yeah. So if y'all waiting on somebody to come out here and magically drop this bag on you, or you gonna magically run on this big pile of money, listen, I done seen a whole bunch of rainbows, y'all. I've been to the end of them. I never seen a pot of gold.
So it's time for you to open your motherfucking mind up and realize ain't nobody coming to save you. Period. If you believe in reparations, that's fine, man. Write all the think pieces you want about it. You ain't getting no fucking money. Figure some shit out. Now, if the money decide to come one day, get your money and go wild out, nigga. You weren't supposed to get it no way. Now go buy you some retarded shit. But until that time come, bro, get off y'all ass and take care of yourself. Stop listening to these motherfucking rappers, bro. These rappers got financial advisors. So listen to these athletes, man. These athletes only live with white folks. They know where the hood's at. They just left from there. They ain't going back.
No, sir.
So let me offer y'all some quick solutions before I roll out of here. You got a job, you got a career. Work as hard as possible for as long as possible. While you young, focus on getting your money at all times in every aspect. Don't worry about the vacations. Don't worry about none of the flashy shit. Focus on stacking your bread up, because it's going to become a time where you're not able to work the way you want to work. It's going to become a time where you're not able to go out here and put the amount of work in as useful because you're going to have a family. If you're young and you don't have kids, put yourself in the best position to have kids one day. Have as much money and as much free time as possible. You do that by moving up within your company, okay? If you're starting a business, realize you're going to fall on your face. And it's okay. You got to pick yourself back up and get back out there, bro. You got to get back out there. I think it said it took Amazon 12 years to make its first sale. So there you have it, okay? If you got kids, I don't give a fuck how much you hate that bitch. Make it work for your kids. Period. I didn't tell you to leave. I didn't tell you to stay. I said make it work for your kids. Period. If you got kids, put your kids first in every situation. If you put your kids first, you're going to make the best decisions ever. And the last thing I'm going to leave you with is right here. If you got some money, the hardest part is keeping it. Any fool can get money. The geniuses learn how to keep their money and make it multiply. That's it for me, Honcho. You be blessed. I'll catch with you later.
All right, prepay, man. I appreciate it. All right, so here's the deal, y'all. I'm about to get ready to set it. I got to get something to eat because I have not eaten today. And so we were sliding the Discord. We will be in there chopping it up. I'll be in there probably a few minutes later, but y'all can slide in. Y'all can actually get allowed to talk to each other. It's okay. I'm trying to remember, make sure I'm not gonna lie, I'm not lightheaded, but I need to eat something. We got on the likes, we got that. I appreciate the love. Shout out to Russell, shout out to Ryota. Appreciate the super chat love. If you want to follow on social medias, Ed Honcho HTX on Instagram and Twitter. Den Show Live on Facebook. That's all I can remember right now. I appreciate y'all for being here. It is my honor. It is my privilege. But most of all, it is my pleasure to get to chop it up with each and every single one of y'all, man. Just like I said, I know some of y'all more than I know some others. I've had the chance to chop it up with some of you more than others. But, man, each and every one of y'all, I appreciate y'all being here. I appreciate your support. And I thank y'all. But with that being said, I'm trying to produce y'all be cool like y'all be cool. Y'all got to go home. I'm inviting us to Discord. I'll put the link in here real quick. But you got to get the fuck up out of here. I do, because I got to eat something. I'm fucking hungry as shit. I'm out. Well, I don't know. Did I move my outro? I guess I ain't out there. Because I don't know where it's at. Or what happened to it.